If you're confused about the differences between RayNeo's Air 3S and the Air 3S Pro headsets, and whether either of them are actually worth buying, you're not alone. I'm Jason Howell, and I've already made 2 deep dive videos on both of these headsets, and they've pulled in a ton of views and a ton of comments, but I also got a ton of questions. And with some pretty major discounts going on right now, including a deeper discount with a code that I'll share in the comments, I figured it was a good time to answer your questions about these headsets once and for all. So let's quickly break down a few key differences, and then I'll answer a bunch of your top questions about the headsets. First, if you're thinking about the Air 3S, definitely check out my comprehensive review of the headset. But real quickly here, I felt that they hit a nice sweet spot for lightweight, affordable media glasses. I actually used these as my display for an entire workday just to see how they fared. And I mean, what can I say? It's totally doable given everything you need is on a single screen. You're literally wearing a display on your face. The display inside is decently clear, the build is super light, and I'd say for the price, I was genuinely impressed with how much value they deliver. They're not perfect though. The edge blur is real. You're going to notice it, especially on sharp UI elements or subtitles maybe that appear close to the corners. Still, for casual viewing or just wearable screen work, they're a very solid entry point into wearable displays. Now, as for the Air 3S Pro, the Pro model is definitely a bit of a step up, as the name implies. And yes, you can check into my deep dive into the Pro model on this channel as well, but it definitely costs a little bit more, as you'd expect. The display itself is noticeably brighter. That's one of its key benefits, also a bit more vibrant. If you're planning to use these in well-lit rooms, let's say, or you just like your visuals to pop a bit more, it's definitely a big improvement. Design-wise though, they're nearly identical to the base model. It's really hard to tell the difference. And yes, that also goes for edge blur, as I said, it's here too. But if I had to choose between the two, on brightness alone, I would go with the Pro. So now that we've got the basics out of the way, let's get into your most asked questions. First up, do these glasses work with my phone? This is by far the #1 question I got on my reviews. And the answer is, it depends. What you're looking for is DisplayPort compatibility through the USB-C port that comes out of the arm here. Flagship phones like Samsung's Galaxy S Ultra line, gonna have that. Premium Pixels, yes, they're gonna have that as well. The iPhone 15, which I don't actually have, yes, you'll get it there. But older Androids or mid-range phones might not cut it. You just have to double check whether your phone supports DisplayPort video out. That's really the deciding factor, and that's all you need to know. Can I use these on PC or Mac? I got this from a lot of people as well, and the answer is yes, mostly. You're gonna need to make sure that your USB-C port supports, you guessed it, DisplayPort video out. But once it's working, it's just like having a private wearable display hovering right in front of you. Not much more to it. What's the actual screen size? Is it really 201 inches? All right, let's be real. That number is creative marketing. In reality, it's very contextual. Sitting here at my desk, for example, the virtual screen that I see feels like kind of like a 24-inch monitor, the same size as the monitor that I have in front of me. If I'm sitting on my couch, it feels like my 55-inch TV off in the distance. In essence, it's not really about inches. It's about field of view. The size of the display, as you can imagine, never changes inside of the glasses, but it can feel bigger or smaller depending on your environment and where you're sitting. How's the text clarity? Can I use it for real work? I'd say the short answer is sort of, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, reading text-heavy documents, it's totally doable. I'd say it's not ideal, at least not over long stretches of time anyway. That was my experience. Pixel density isn't quite what you'd get on a Retina display, but you can do it. For casual reading, sure. For spreadsheet work and precise design work, I think it's gonna work for some and not for others. It's really very hard to give a definitive answer on this one because I think it really comes down to your own personal tolerance, so your mileage may vary. What about audio? Do I need earbuds? Got this from a lot of people as well. Now, the onboard speakers, of which there are 4, are pretty decent, I felt. Not amazing, but totally usable in pretty quiet environments. You know, if you're watching YouTube, Netflix, in those environments, you're gonna be fine. I actually watched the new Avatar movie in the headset sitting in the midst of a busy household one weekend. I did that with the built-in speakers, and it wasn't totally immersive, but it wasn't terrible either. I could totally watch the movie. But if you're in a really noisy place or you care about bass and clarity, you're gonna wanna grab some earbuds, especially if you're on an airplane. You're not gonna be able to hear anything. The Pro model doesn't change much here either. They're both nearly identical when it comes to sound. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this Q&A and that you're getting some extra info about these glasses from it. Real quick, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button so you won't miss future content like this. And maybe like this video while you're at it. I appreciate it. Can I use these with my vision problems? I'd say yes, but with caveats. Lensology sells prescription lens inserts. They do cost extra. Some users do report clear vision without them. Others need correction. My vision isn't perfect. I use contacts, but with contacts in and using the RayNeos, everything looks great to me. But if you've got more complex vision needs, you're gonna want to test them out. Thankfully, there's a 30-day return policy, so you won't be stuck. Can I use just one lens? I only see from one eye. Yes, you can, because the image will just appear centered in your good eye, right? It's just two different displays. You lose three-dimensional depth in stereoscopic content, but for standard video, it still works very well. You'll just see through the display that you can see. Okay, what about that edge blur? Yep. Still there, you're gonna notice blur around the edges at times, depending on how it's fitting on your face, especially if text or UI elements sit very near those borders. It is not constant, and I wouldn't say that it's a total deal breaker. It's something that you have to get used to though, and it can be kind of annoying to have to kind of adjust to look around it and to remove that from your view and get to good untarnished view. So it's there, you might just have to get used to it. Does the screen stay stable if I move my head? Yes, this is really important to know. The image moves with your head, like a floating monitor that's stuck in front of your face. It's not like augmented reality where the screen stays pinned to a specific spot in the room. If you move your head, the display moves with it. And it's as simple as that. The display will be wherever you're looking. Will it kill my phone battery? I think the answer here is eventually it will. These glasses do draw power from your phone or your computer. There's no battery inside of the glasses. The drain isn't huge though, but it's definitely noticeable. And if you plan to use them for long sessions, a USB-C hub with pass-through charging might be a smart move for you. Can I watch 3D or immersive content? Yes, that's one of the reasons why you might want to get these. These support SBS, that's side-by-side 3D, if your source content is compatible with that. And you're gonna find plenty of SBS content on YouTube. The effect is surprisingly solid, actually. I've watched a good deal of YouTube SBS 3D video. I've also really enjoyed watching the new Avatar in 3D, like I mentioned earlier. I consider that to be my go-to test for this sort of thing these days, and it was very enjoyable inside these glasses. All right, now the really big question, are these better than the competition? And for me, it's too soon to say. At least from my perspective, I haven't had hands-on time, or heads-on time anyways, with the Vitur Pro or the X-Real Air 2 or the other competitors yet. But based on what I've heard, the Air 3S Pro and the Air 3S hold up rather well, at least considering the lower price point. I think it's a solid, lower cost entry into wearable displays. I hope to do some head-to-head comparisons once I get the others in for testing. So look, whether you're just curious or seriously considering a pair, I hope this has helped clear up a few things about the headsets. If you do want to grab one of the RayNeo Air 3S or the Air 3S Pros, now's a great time. There are actually some solid Black Friday deals live right now, and you can stack those with my link and coupon code in the comments for an even better price. And that supports the channel if you do that as well, so thank you. If you still haven't seen my full reviews of the Air 3S and the Pro yet, I'll link both of those at the end of this video. They go way deeper than I did just now. And if you've still got questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll keep replying there on what you have to ask. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one.